Both of these devices came out in 2013, but are they usable in 2025? Now, I've been living a life of digital minimalism for almost a year and a half, and the one thing that I've come to realize is that the best dumb phone or minimal phone is probably a phone that you already have, or one laying in a drawer. Now, when I go back and think of a phone that I would like to try, I thought about these two devices. First, because these devices come in different colors and it's more fun. So these devices are the BlackBerry Q5 and the iPhone 5C. Both of these devices had the same target audience. These were quote-unquote budget devices in their time, and the specs show that quite clearly. If you're looking for a device that's fun to use, these devices are an option, but with a big caveat. These devices are very obsolete. The Q5 comes with BlackBerry 10, and the iPhone 5C was supported up until iOS 10.3. Now, using an obsolete device isn't difficult if you want to use it in a dumb phone manner, meaning you don't need any application specifically besides calling and texting. If you were to order these devices today, both of these devices can call and text, so that's the good news. After that, the device usability is quite variable depending on what you want to do. As far as the BlackBerry Q5 is concerned, there aren't many apps working out of the box. Even the browser is quite limiting. So in order to use a BlackBerry 10 device in 2025, I would recommend sideloading certain applications, at least a browser if you need specific apps. You can sideload other apps such as some social media and even email. The iPhone 5C is a bit more limiting, but you do have more app options because you have access to some apps still in the App Store. You'll notice that if you use the 5C out of the box and start downloading some applications, you'll get a notification to download the older version. Now, these older versions, some of them work and a lot of them don't. For example, if you're looking to download certain communication apps, such as WhatsApp or even Facebook Messenger, these apps are no longer supported. You can download certain social media, such as Instagram, I found work perfectly fine. Other apps, such as Reddit or even any of the YouTube or Google applications, don't really work, except for Google Chrome. Now, as far as the BlackBerry and the iPhone is concerned, I couldn't get WhatsApp, of course, to work with an application, but I decided to try the workaround for both of these phones to see if I can access WhatsApp Web. If you haven't seen my video on that for the BlackBerry devices, I'll link it above and in the comments below. Now, of course, the BlackBerry Q5 works perfectly with WhatsApp Web. Of course, it's a bit cumbersome and not very fun to use, but you can use it in a pinch. I tried to use the same workaround with the iPhone 5C. This device did not work at all. No matter how many times I tried to reload the page, I was using Google Chrome, of course, and in desktop mode, I couldn't get WhatsApp Web to even load, let alone connect to my WhatsApp account. So depending on which device you need and which device you want to use specific apps for, both of these devices are great dumb phones. If you need to get into the specifics of the specifications, of course, there are some differences between these two devices. Notably, the material that they're made out of. The BlackBerry Q5 is completely plastic. Unlike its other BlackBerry 10 devices, it does feel a lot less premium, but it comes in fun colors, so that kind of balances it out, at least for me. The bonus of it being plastic is that it's very light and it goes in the pocket and you don't even feel that it's there. The iPhone 5C is also a different material than most iPhones. It is an aluminum build, but it has a plastic coating over it, and this gives the device a durable feeling. It feels like you don't really need a case with this particular phone. Both of these devices are small. The iPhone 5C has a 4-inch display, and the BlackBerry Q5 has a 3.1-inch display. Take this as you want. As somebody who's visually impaired, these screens are not easy for me to see, but this is also a positive for me to spend less time on my devices. As far as how fast and snappy these devices are, I found that the BlackBerry Q5 is a little bit faster because it does have more RAM. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM, whereas the iPhone 5C has 1, and it's just a bit slower. If you're used to using a modern smartphone, of course, we're used to going between apps very quickly, and with this particular iPhone, you have to take your time. Whether it's opening an app, closing an app, and sometimes you have to turn off the screen because the phone just gets a little bit overwhelmed with a lot of tasks. This could be a positive for a lot of people because if you're looking at using an iPhone in particular as a dumb phone, you will have access, of course, to the things that the Apple ecosystem offers. You have your FaceTime and your iMessages, and this is enough for a lot of people. I think this device is a great dumb phone because you can't really use any applications on it. Doom scrolling is difficult because the phone is so slow, so it would help you detox a bit. Is it the best older iPhone to use? No. I would highly recommend the iPhone SE from 2016. It's a lot more usable in today's time, and there are a lot more usable applications since it supports all the way up to iOS 15. As far as the BlackBerry Q5 is concerned, it runs quite similarly to the other BlackBerry 10 devices, such as the Q10, the BlackBerry Classic, and of course the BlackBerry Passport. The only difference between using the other BlackBerry 10 devices is the premium feel, of course, and this is most notable within the keyboard. If this is something that you're sensitive with, this keyboard is quite clicky sounding, and the keys move a little bit more than the other BlackBerry devices. I like it for the nostalgia feel. It feels fun to use. Of course, I'm not going to write a novel on it or anything, but it gets the job done, and I just like the look of a different color BlackBerry. Most Blackberries are quite business-oriented, so you see the black and the silver designs. Sometimes it comes in white, but this particular model comes in 5 different colors: black, white, gray, red, and pink. I chose pink for both of these devices because I am somebody who likes the color pink. I used to have the Barbie phone, but I gifted it at Christmas to my niece, and I was kind of missing having a pink device around, so I decided to give both of these a try. The pink color is quite different between the BlackBerry and the iPhone itself. Of course, the BlackBerry Q5 is more of a Barbie but darker pink, and the iPhone 5C is more of a lighter coral colored pink. I don't know if it's faded with time. The color almost looks orange to me. Now, as far as using it in a daily use case in 2025, both of these devices, of course, have a decent battery if you're just calling and texting. If you're trying to doom scroll or spend a significant amount of screen time for any of these devices, it's going to drain quite quickly, and it's not something you're going to get multiple days use out of. As far as call quality is concerned, both of these devices work on 4G LTE, and the Q5 more or less works on 3G for calls and 4G for data. One of the biggest differences for me, notably using it in 2025, is the memory. Now, the iPhone is kind of stuck and you get what you get as far as memory is concerned. So if you're looking to add your music on here, if you're looking for a streaming app, it's probably not going to work. So if you're looking to add your music via iTunes, which I think has been discontinued, but I'm still using it for now, it seems to work okay to add your music. And of course, if you listen to music all day, every day, if you're using a Bluetooth device, this is going to drain your battery significantly. The BlackBerry Q5 has an advantage. Of course, it doesn't have much memory internally, but you can add a micro SD card and significantly increase your memory. I was able to add my entire music library, and I have a preference for the BlackBerry 10 devices and the music app itself. I find it's quite user-friendly, creating playlists, and it's just a pleasure to use. Both of these devices, of course, have a headphone jack as well, so for those of you who still covet the headphone jack, it is on both of these devices. If I had to choose between these two devices, the choice is quite hard. Of course, I lean always towards BlackBerry, but I find the iPhone SE got a lot of bad press and bad rap for its time when it came out. It's still noted as one of the worst iPhones ever released as far as sales is concerned. It gets a lot of negative flack, but I think the device had some positives. Of course, it's quite obsolete in today's use standards, but I think the design of the device itself made it quite fun to use, especially without a case. I think Apple is leaning more towards going back to colors, when you can see with the iMacs, and things they're trying to introduce more personality and stop being so boring. And I think the 5C kind of put Apple in a state of fear when it had been released because it got so much negative feedback, and they kind of retracted from themselves and made themselves a lot less fun. I hope going forward that with the new iPhone SE, they release some different colors and make it more fun to use their devices again. Now, as far as BlackBerry is concerned, we know they're not going to release any new devices, and going back and rediscovering devices, especially the different color variants, make the devices a lot more fun and more usable, especially as a dumb phone. Which device would you choose? Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.